Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's the 5th of October, 2021. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. I'd like to do an update on Bitcoin. I want to take a look at Shiba Inu as well. Obviously, there's been some interesting stuff happening there the last couple days, so I want to talk about that and whether or not I think that the move is done or whether it's got some more juice left in the tank. I also want to take a look, of course, at the S&P 500, which is on a little bit of a relief rally today. I also want to take a look at Nasdaq. All of these things are important to the overall health of the market. If you understand the indexes, if you understand the movers, then you will get a general consensus on where the rest of the market is going to go. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. If you need access to our Discord, there's a plethora of options available at BitDoctor.org. You can find information there. Feel free to shoot me an email if you need. It's mybitdoctor@gmail.com. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. Starting here on Bitcoin, the last video I did, I was talking about placing this trade idea for the members on our Discord. Basically saying to kind of layer down, at about 41,300 with the stop loss or on the other side of 41.7. So I had my stop loss at 46.96. And as you can see, I got very, very close to being stopped out. You can see that very easily right here. It got close, but I did not get stopped out. And thankfully so, because we know what happened next. We know what happened after that. We had a nice big move up, felt pretty good about it. It flipped some resistance into support. You can see this zone right here is a flip of support and resistance. This is always important, especially with crypto. If you see an area that was previously resistance and then it became support, that is a good sign that things are going to continue. I'm going to pull out something that I haven't done in a while, just because I really haven't spent too much time kind of focusing on this. But you had resistance and then it became support. So you see this type of formation where you have a curling on the top, and then when you become support, it's got a curling on the bottom. One way or another, we did provide some support there. My target to the upside was only 47,000, and obviously we are sitting now at 50,000, so we did overthrow that quite a bit. A couple things, and again, going back to the point of support and resistance, this level right here, again, looking left, what did we see there, right? If we look left, let me get rid of the indicators and go to like maybe a 4-hour time frame. And let's just talk about the importance with that level, right? So again, looking left, we had some resistance here, support here, resistance here, support here, and it flew through it. I took this trade because, well, we might see some resistance there, and you had a good basis for it. But now that actually has confirmed flipping support. We've got that confirmation right here where we went and retested. We actually retested in the 4-hour candle that came after the breakout candle. And then we had a retest of that level as well I'm just on the other side of 47,000, about 46.9. All in all, this looks really good. It actually does look pretty good. Where does this look on the grand scheme of things? All right, so we've got a bearish scenario here, right? The bearish scenario is we've got basically a 1 and then a 2, right? And then we have, much, much further down to go. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm more along the lines of this count, which, we have this falling wedge that I pointed out. We have the strong demand zone that I pointed out that was all the way down here at about 39.5, okay? At about 39.5, we have this area that was a strong demand zone that I didn't think that we were going to be able to penetrate. And actually, we basically just kind of tapped it. And, we had this idea that we had a nice correction here, okay? You've got a nice 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then 5. It was a nice 5-wave move down. This is hard to count because it happened so quickly, but one way or another, we had a nice correction on that. It was a really nice correction. And so I have no reason to believe that we're going to come back down here anytime soon. We could come back and retest this lower, this level down here, maybe 42, maybe 44. Just depends on what things look like as time goes by. But looking at the indicators, okay, so let's just take a look at the indicator, which is, I use this in all of my analysis. If you haven't already noticed, right now we've got everything. We have literally everything. We've got the 1 hour, we've got the 3 hour, we've got the 12 hour, and we've even got the weekly, which is the white indicator. All of them are basically an overbought. Now the hourly shows that we could still see some moves up. And keep in mind, when you're looking at higher time frames, the time it takes for that move to complete, it's going to take a while, right? It's going to take some time for the move to complete. So you got to take a look at the lower time frames to get your short-term bias on where the market potentially is going. Do I think that Bitcoin has juice to go a lot higher? No, actually I don't. It's probably going to make a lot of people a little sad. It is what it is. Basically what I'm seeing here is we've got a nice 1, 2, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 working on that 5, right? So I think this move is close to being done. Let me just kind of zoom in here, see if we can find a projection to complete this move. So from this low here, we've got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you can't disagree that that looks like a completed move. We even had a little bit of an ending diagonal, if you will, there at the end. One way or another, we had a big sell-off, right? So from there, I'm going to say that we had a nice A, B, C for right there. That's likely going to be the completion of that move. I'm going to move it a little lower on the degree, give it a nice little white color. So we've got a nice ABC. Now from here, I think this is where things get interesting, because if this is in fact a 1 and then a 2, we're basically at the 1618. Let me throw the 175 on there. We always take a look at the 175 as well and just see what kind of confluence we get. Let me just go ahead. Apparently I don't have it on here. 175. Okay. It's basically where we're at right now. This is a good target for a wave 3. So my opinion is this looks impulsive. So from here, we've got the 1, we've got the 2, and then we've got the 3 up here. I don't think much higher, but we're going to go down for a 4 and then up for a 5. This is the bullish scenario. Okay, guys, this is our bullish scenario right here. If we have a 1 and then a 2, right? So that's this 2 down here that I've marked with the question mark. If that's the 2, well, then this right here is going to be, our basically the completion of the first wave of our third. Okay, because fact of the matter is, the move that we've had so far is not wave 3 material for this wave 2. We're just starting it, in my opinion, if we are to remain bullish, which I think that there is evidence to say that we basically more than likely have bottomed back in August, September, when we were talking about buying all the way back over here. We've obviously created a bit of an impulse from there to support that we do have higher prices to go. Now, obviously, we were up at 53,000 not that long ago, but everybody was extremely bullish back then. And when we had this big capitulation and then we had a bigger move down, people were very, very, very bearish here. And when you compare bearish behavior over here with the bearish behavior that we had all the way back here at about 30,000, well, you can see what happens when that occurs. When people are extremely bearish, the price gets marked up because you've got less people in, and so it's easier to move the price up. The same thing is happening here. Big move down got people scared. All perpetual contracts were bearish. They were bearish. And so what's happening now, right? Now we are back up here, and I do think that we do have a little bit higher to go, but for this current move, yeah, I do think we're probably going to correct. We're probably going to pull back to about 48, if I had to guess. If I had to measure it, let's just see where the 236 and the 382 are and see. So we're basing this off the bottom of wave 2 to, let's just say that we've topped out, even though we potentially have a little bit more that we can squeak out. But the 236 is there at 48.1. All right, so 48.1 is the 236. 382, although that's possible, I don't think it's likely. I think if it does come back down here, then things are probably going to go down a little bit further. But 46,730. We'll have to wait and see how high this wave 3 goes, because again, I do believe that we are still in wave 3 because of the size of wave 1 and the size of wave 2, especially the duration. I think what we're dealing with right now is definitely not the larger wave 4. I think we're in a smaller wave 4. So we, again, potentially have a 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we're working on that 5. Okay, so probably a wave 4 of that fifth wave, of our third wave here, which again is going to see us pull back. So we're gonna have to wait and see where the high is. I think it's close. I don't think we have much further to go, in my opinion, on Bitcoin before we see a little bit of a correction, probably some consolidation. It's probably going to take some time, but ultimately I do think that we are going to see higher prices in the coming month or so. I think this week, next week are key. And I think maintaining price above 47 to 48,000 is also key. It's very important that we stay up there. All right, that's Bitcoin. I want to take a look at Shiba Inu. So the interesting thing about this guy, so obviously we were talking about buying this all the way back at the beginning of September. We've seen what has happened. We basically are up about 100 to 150%. Actually, I think it's more than that, because we purchased this at about 700. It's currently up about 157% from where the original entry is. Now, full disclosure, when this was launched on Coinbase, I did sell at about 810, and I bought back at about 740 or so. So I've got a little more profit that I've squeezed out of it. But at any rate, what's going to happen next? That's what everybody wants to know. What's going to happen next? So I'm here not on log scale. I'm on arithmetic scale, and it really doesn't look much different when I move out of this. So this is fib levels based on log scale. If I put it on regular scale, it really doesn't change a whole lot, because really the price action was pretty cut and dry for a while. But now if I move to like a daily, for instance, just taking a look at this, there is so much potential here. Now, I'm definitely not saying to buy, right? Even though I think it's going to go higher, I think buying here is foolish. And again, I don't have to draw a line, because the price line is showing us something that's very important right now. Price agreement, okay? Price agreement right here at 1800. Here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, a whole week. Basically, Shiba Inu stuck right here at about 1800. Do I think that this is a great place to be buying? No, again, I don't. I think the time to be buying was all back through this. I was instructing the people on the Discord to buy because this was a sleeping giant. And again, even though I do think that the price will go up, I think your financial risk is much greater here by buying 150% higher than where it consolidated since May 19th. This thing fell down and it moved sideways ever since May. That's like 5 months. This thing sat here just consolidating. So naturally there's going to be a markup, and that's what we're dealing with right now. 1800 is key. I don't think that that it's going to move up significantly in the next day or two, but it could. I'm happy to hold what I've got left, and if it continues to go up, well, then that's great. But if you are looking at this video and you're wanting me to tell you to buy, I'm not going to do that. Just because there is huge risk here. Because if this thing drops from 1800 and does a retest of 900, well, that's 50% that you would have lost. So again, huge financial risk. Whereas when we bought this, our risk was rather small in crypto's terms, right? Because we had all of these bottoms that have been created, and we did have a push down, but it got bought right back up, and it in a pretty significant way. So it was a good hold, and obviously here we are. Now you're looking at this again, maybe as an outsider, and you're like, oh, do I buy this? And here's this guy on YouTube that's saying, well, no, probably not. Well, I'm only trying to tell you why. I'm just trying to tell you that what goes up will go down. and you are at an area of maximum financial risk by attempting to invest in Shiba Inu at these prices. So just be very, very careful. Yes, it can go all the way back up to 5,000 again, which would be about another 150%. What are the odds that that's going to happen? Well, to be quite honest, the odds I think are probably 60% that they will. I'm about 60-40 that we're going to see prices go all the way up there. But that still leaves a 40% probability you have better odds going to the casino and putting it all on red. But at any rate, I think that you just need to be very careful when you're looking at things that everybody is talking about, and just try and keep a level head. All right. I want to take a look at the S&P and I want to take a look at Nasdaq, but I want to focus most on the S&P. So I'm going to go to the ES chart here, and we're going to take a look at this on this chart over here. I'm going to go down to a 30-minute time frame. I want to talk about these channels that I've got. I've got a lot on here, and I'd like to redraw them for you just so that we can focus on what's important. Right? First things first. 4,200 totally in the cards, and I do think it's going to hit. 4,200 on SPX is more than likely going to hit. Now, the target technically is going to be about 4,220 on ES, which would be 4,230 on SPX. So technically that's our algo target that we would be projecting to hit, but I do think it's probably going to overthrow, and I think it's going to happen before the end of the month. I don't think it's going to happen before the end of the week, but it could, but I doubt it. All right, and I'm gonna try and explain why. I'm gonna try and explain why here in a minute. So first things first. Now that we've got this 100% down here, I'm going to remove this guy, and all this was trend-based fib extension. I'm measuring from the top here, this dominant pivot high, to this dominant pivot low here, where we had the major rally, and we had the rejection at the 618. Or approximately the 618 to the 65. And again, that's kind of where I'm looking for this guy to come back down to. I'm looking for it to go down to 618 of a larger move up. Because again, what goes up will come down, and things correct. All right? So we had this rejection up here at approximately the 618. So the negative 236 was down here in this area, which is also the 618 of that larger move. So what I want to do now is I want to put a channel on a lot of these things. Okay, so I'm going to use my parallel channel tool, and I'm going to try and just be as close as possible. So I'm going to measure, and I've got my dominant pivot high here, my dominant pivot high here, and let's go down to our lows. And we have a little bit of an overthrow on this first move down, but either way, right here, we've got October 11th, right, at 4,200. So this is the 5th, okay, the 5th. We're on the 5th right now. The 11th isn't going to hit until next Monday, right? This is next Monday at about 8:30 in the morning, October 11th, 6:30 in the morning. So if we want to take a look at it from a channel perspective and a geometry perspective, because channels are geometry, and if we want to hit this lower at just the right time, at just the algo target, at just the perfect time, that's what we're going to be looking for. I would say it's probably going to happen sometime next week that we see that move down. I don't think it's going to happen this week, and I'm going to explain why here in just a minute. I want to point out the downside target and the reason for the downside target. If it takes longer, okay, if it takes longer, let's just talk about that, then I think we go lower. I think this Y goes lower, this C goes lower if we do that. Now this green area is going to be significant support. I'm going to go to a 2-hour here and just kind of show why. We have a significant top here. We have a significant bottom here. Okay? Therefore, because of that, let me just zoom in a little bit, right? Significant high here, significant low here. And again, it's right here at the 618 of this move from this dominant pivot low to this dominant pivot high, right? The 618 is sitting right there. It's also where we have, again, significant support and resistance right here. So naturally, I believe that this is probably where things are going to fall. Naturally, I think that that is where we're going to get a magnet to. But if we break down below this, or if it takes longer, then I'm going to be looking for these targets to the downside, potentially getting down to about 4150. I don't know that it goes much further than that. I've been having some discussions with some people in the Discord server about, getting some kind of far-fetched plays where it would actually profit significantly if it got there. But I believe we're going to see a move up here to 43.75 on ES, which is 43.85 on SPX first. And let me say why. Okay, first off, let me just put this in here. We'll pull this out. All right. So this 43.75, where is that coming from? All right, well, first off, let me just remove this channel now just to kind of clean things up at least a little bit. I'm going to use my trend-based fib extension, which I love to use. Dominant pivot low, right here. Dominant pivot high, right there. We do the pullback. Okay, we have 100% equality sitting right there, basically at 43.75. 100%. Now, we're almost there right now. We're almost there right now. Okay? This is looking corrective because from down here, we've got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? We've got a nice move up. You can even look at this as an ABC. ABC probably makes more sense if we drill down to like a 30-minute time frame. Yeah, actually, now that I look at that, the ABC makes a lot more sense. So let's just go ahead and mark it out. From here, a nice A, B, C. From the top, what do we have? We have a nice little A, B, C. Okay? Now, here we are. We have a little bit more of a complex move up. It's not as clear as these two moves are. But again, in my opinion, what we've got here is a larger A, a larger B, or a W and an X, and then you've got the Y up here. I'm marking it as an ABC. Either way, you get what I'm trying to say, that we've got a 3-wave correction. So, in addition to marking this top right here, I'm also going to put another little channel on this, because if you know me, you know that I love geometry. And right here, we've got our 2 dominant pivot lows, and we're going to take this to our dominant pivot high right there. So potentially we go higher, right? Potentially we overthrow, and that would be perfectly fine. So this is the 5th. We're looking at, the 6th. Maybe it goes out a little ways, but I think we're probably going to see a push up before the end of the week, and then from there I think we are going to reject and move down, because again, we are expecting a move to 4,200 before the end of the month. I'm expecting a move to somewhere around 4,400, sometime 4,400 within the next 3 days or so. We're already pretty close, right? We're doing a little bit of consolidation here. Wouldn't surprise me one bit to move up. Let's take a look at the hourly and bring up the indicators. Okay, the indicators, the hourly looks like it wants to curl down. So naturally, we're in a consolidative phase. So I would say that, yeah, more than likely, maybe tomorrow, it's also going to be a consolidating day. Tomorrow may actually be red. But I think we're going to get that last move up. That's going to finish the correction here. This could be a 3-3-5 that we're working on, where we've got a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have a complex correction that we're dealing with right now. Not any significant signs of bearish divergence or anything that I would be super concerned about, right? Obviously, we do have a lower high on the momentum oscillator, whereas here we had a higher low, a lower low where we had a higher low on the price. That indicates some hidden bullish divergence as well. So this is playing out. When you have bullish divergence, it doesn't mean it's going to just continue moving up forever. It just means that that divergence is going to play out, and eventually it is irrelevant. Okay? So again, we're consolidating, and I do think we are going to see a little bit of a move up before the end of the week. From there, I do think we do see a decline, potentially down to 4,200. I think that's where we're programmed to go in the next couple weeks. Let's talk about Nasdaq. We're going to take a look at this on NQ, and very similar to the S&P, right? The 3 hour is curling up, the 12 hour is curling up, the hourly is it's up there. It looks like it wants to consolidate again. Now Nasdaq was a lot weaker than the S&P was, And a lot of that could be due to what happened with Facebook yesterday and a lot of other things as well. Although Facebook is a higher weighted asset on the S&P 500, we are starting to see a little bit of a recovery here. I think that Nasdaq looks okay because it's basically recovered from yesterday morning. It's recovered basically everything. Has S&P done that? Yes, S&P has. Sorry, I didn't pay too much attention to that. S&P has recovered yesterday's losses. Nasdaq has recovered yesterday's losses, but more than likely this is just a correction. This is more than likely just a corrective move. Nasdaq, we had some thoughts here that, again, we had the A, the B. We thought the C might be in, but obviously it's not. Maybe the C is actually in now. Maybe Nasdaq won't make a new low, while the S&P potentially can make a new low. We're just going to have to wait and see. My downside target for Nasdaq, as you can see, was here at about 14.5. I wasn't expecting it until, again, the end of the month. But now we've seen this move down here to 14,364 yesterday. So things are a little interesting. A couple things I do want to point out. All right, first off, we had our indicator that was saying to buy Nasdaq. If you want to take it and convert it over to the Qs, you can do that. We had a buy area right here, which would be profitable. We had a buy area right here, but the 12-hour was moving down. Right, this was the better buy because the 12-hour, the 1-hour, and the 3-hour were all oversold at the same time. And again, historically, when that happens, it's a good time to be buying. Right? I talk about this kind of thing all the time. If I find a spot where the 1-hour, the 3-hour, and the 12-hour are all oversold at the same time, it's almost always been a good buy. Here was the last time that they were all down at the same time. This was back on May 12th. And basically that was almost at a major market bottom here at about 12,900, 12,953. We'll call it 13,000, right? Right here, they were all down there at the same time. When they all line up like this, again, historically speaking, it's been a good place to buy. So yeah, people are saying, rest in peace, buy the dippers, and I'm not a buy the dip kind of guy, although I am a corrective trader. You can't ignore the fact that the indicator was basically saying, yeah, you should probably be buying here, you shouldn't be selling here, because momentum on the sell side was decreasing, and here we are. We saw the prices move up. Let's take a look at the S&P and just see what this looks like. All right, they were all oversold here, good place to buy. Back here, they were all oversold, that was a good place to buy. Good relief rally. Here, good relief rally, right? Obviously, we didn't have a buy signal down here. But even then, it still is looking decent. We had the 12-hour cross up earlier today at about 6 o'clock this morning. And here we are. Nice big move 4 hours later. When the market opened, we ripped. So you have to be very careful when you're trading. You have to be able to manage your risk appropriately. And you just have to understand how the market breathes and how the market moves. So I've been talking here for a good 28 minutes. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you need access to our Discord, again, there's a lot of options on BitDoctor.org for you to gain access to the Discord community. And, of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.